Alright, I got some double adjustable Viking Crusader coilovers for the 96 Camaro for the rear. And put that one together a little bit just to look at a few things. But don't mind this pillow. This is my kneel-on pillow in the gravel for my knees when I get under the car. But put that up here because if I don't, it'll just roll off the table here. But the first thing you got to do is you get these C-clips. Or this is the first thing I do because it's just easier without all the other crap on here to do this part. So I put the first C-clip in with just some snapper or pliers meant for them. Forgot what the pliers are called. Anyway, I put that one in, and then you put this piece in, and this fits tight. So you got to get it just right lined up for it to go in, and then we'll put the other snap ring right there. We'll use the snap ring pliers, O-ring, whatever you want to call them, and we'll put that one in. We make sure that these go up in that groove. There's a groove down in there. See if we can zoom in on it. Yeah, see that groove? That groove's on both sides. Then snap rings got to go right down in the groove. Alright, got the snap rings in place. I got this piece in. Just make sure your snap rings go all the way down in the groove. I had to put them in there and then use a flathead screwdriver and push it down. I heard them pop in, but make sure it's popped in all the way around, or that liable to pop out on you. Alright, so the next thing, we're going to put some anti-seize lube on these, and then we're going to put some collars on. Alright, just put anti-seize all the way around it, and we're going to put this nut on the top with that shoulder part up, smooth side down. And as we screw that in, it'll spread this anti-seize for us. But see how it spreads that anti-seize as you screw that on? But I'm going to go ahead and screw this one on next. It goes just like this. This is like the spring cup. That way I can screw these on together, because with that anti-seize it doesn't spin. You have to actually, like without the anti-seize on, I can go like that and it'll spin all the way pretty much a couple inches every time I spin it. But the anti-seize, it's a little tighter, so I'm going to put these together and screw them on together. Just way it's easier. Have to only do it once instead of twice. Alright, screwed these all the way down as far as they'd go. And look how good it spread that anti-seize. Now, we're going to take this, or actually, forgot a part. Now, some of these just have the washer. If you don't order the bearing's extra. Coat up your bearing. And honestly, my front shocks, they don't even have a washer, so I just lubed up real good here for when the shock goes on. But these got the bearing, so we're going to lubricate the bearing, and then we'll sandwich it in between these two spacers, and we'll put that on. Oh, also before we put the spring on, we're going to make sure these are dialed all the way down counterclockwise, and we're going to pull that all the way out. Alright, once we get the spring in there and this all the way up, we take this piece, slide it in there just like that, and then we'll tighten these nuts up until we got some compression on the spring. Alright, so this bolt will go through the bottom and the bracket and hold it there. Then at the top, you'll put this washer in, this bushing. Then you put it in the mountain location. And then on the other side of the mountain location, you put that one. You put that one. Then you put the nut on there. And you're supposed to tighten it down until these bushings smack out to the same size as the washer. Once you got that, then you put a lock nut on it, and that's how that goes in. So this one's done, and we'll finish this one up. Then we'll get them on the car. All right, Brought the shocks outside. Let's slap them in the car. Oh, also, if you guys ever wonder what valving you got, or wondering what these letters were, that's the valving. AM, they're supposed to be for 600 plus rear wheel horsepower on a radial. We run on radial. I run this one on radials. But yeah, let's get started. So I probably should have put the stock springs back in and did some measurements for the ride height. But you're supposed to put the shocks in without the spring. Make sure you get the full travel. But we're going to wing that too. I'm just going to throw them in there, set the ride height, and see how much compression and rebound we have left on the shaft of the shock, and adjust from there. You can always add extenders on these, but we'll see how they are the way they are. It's got quite a bit of travel there. I mean, it's at least 7 inches. So if we can get about 3.5 compression and 3.5 rebound, I'd be happy there. So yeah, that's where we'll try to put it. And if we need to add spacers or anything here, we'll do that. But let's see where it's going to set first. And they do recommend starting at like 1/3 of the way up. So I'm gonna take the ruler there and put these 1/3 of the way up. All right, I got them in. I got the bolt pushed through and put the nut on the other side. I didn't tighten it up yet, but I forgot to mention this bracket. This bracket is a relocation bracket. So what it does is it turns the shock in a manner the shock can go like this and it won't hurt anything. The stock configuration wouldn't focus, would it? The stock configuration with the shock turned this way and the bolt through the front of it, there's no way for it to rotate up and down. So that's why they send you those. Let me clear there, now let's focus. But anyway, you have to put that bracket on and put that bottom nut in, then mark the hole at the top, and then take it all off, drill that hole for that top nut and bolt, then put it all back on. I did that a few weeks ago. They sent the bracket and the spanner wrench separate, and then the shocks, the spring, and the thrust, the bearing at the bottom of the spring that helps it spin better. They sent that later. But anyway, I'll put that bracket on there. Now I'm just going to jack up the rear end and line this hole up to go where the shock would go. I don't know if I'm pointing at it or not, guys. I can't see. But anyway, they have a relocation for the top too, where you can put an eyelet top on the top too. It bolts where the shock goes and loops around where the spring perch is. But yeah, I just got those on the bottom because they make the biggest difference. See, when the rear end rotated and I broke the rear end, or where it wheel hopped, and the bolt on lower control arms twisted back on me and bent the shock perch back. When it bent it back, it bent the bottom of the shock down and in, because again, it's not designed to turn that way. And with that stock bolt location for the shock on the bottom, it's not a good they didn't set that up good, because if the rear end rotates a little, and if it rotates with the stock mounting location, it busts the bottom of the shock, just like it did when I wheel hopped and my bolt-on relocation, lower control arm relocations brackets gived and flipped back, and it pushed that shock perch back. It busted the bottom out of the shock. So I had to new shocks regardless. Might as well get good ones. Anyway, let's jack the rear end up and line that hole up and get them to go in. All right, I jacked it up, lined it up, jacked it up, lined it up. Make sure you got your washer on the bottom and then your bushing. And then up here, bushing, then washer, and then put the nut on. I'm going to tighten those up until the bushing flares out about the same size of this washer. Well, I tightened it up pretty tight. And it didn't flare out the same size as the washer, but that's as far as I'm going. It's pretty tight. I'm going to go ahead and put the lock nut on it. Alright, and then tighten them two nuts together. All good. Do the other side. Alright, there we go. They're all in and nothing's hitting. Let's put the tire on. I know before I had about a hand I could stick in there. See if we need to go up or down. But oh yeah, I did jack it up by the rear end. It's not even sitting on the jack stands no more, so it's fully loaded on the rear end now.
Push the bottom.
Well, look at that. It's pretty close.
Push the bottom of the wheel in though.
That ain't gonna make that much of a difference. See? I could get my hand straight in there before though. It's gotta go up about an inch. I mean, it'd be okay right there. But I don't know. Let's go up about an inch. So I kind of want to get the travel right in the middle at what we had 7 inches. So we're at 3 now. So if we raise this up, it'll push this apart. So if we go up a ½ inch here, we'll get 3.5, which will give us 3.5 compression and 3.5 rebound, which would be perfect. So we're going to go up a ½ inch on both sides. I had it at 2 1/16 from the bottom of the threads to here. So now we'll go 2 1/2 What is that? 4 5/8? 5/8. 2 5/8 on both sides. All right, so this side ain't as easy to turn because I was hitting right there. So I cut part of this off. Now if I was coming this way, it'd be easy, but see, it won't fit up inside there. But yeah, just cut a little off there. And now, hopefully, we can. I'm probably gonna have to cut that even shorter.
Can't get it out.
All right, guys, right here, that shaft was 7 inches long. So I've got 3.5 inches there. So it can compress 3.5 and it can extend 3.5. And I could get my hand, well, you'll see where the tire's at, but I gotta tighten that very bottom bolt and nut. Then we can put the tires back on her. All right, there we go. That's gonna be the new stance. We got 3 inches of travel, 3.5 inches of compression and rebound, and there's plenty enough of that up in here for either or. Plus them other tires I'm putting on. These are the bad tires from the incident, the wheel hop incident, but they're a little bit narrower. So yeah. It's almost like Viking knew what my ride height was. Hit it right on the head. And perfectly in the middle of the shock where we want it. Yeah. The next thing up is to get an alignment just to make sure the rear end is straight. And get the tires changed. They'll be ready to race. Well, I tell you what, this power steering works awesome. It don't make a noise one. The rear end sounds good. It ain't making a noise. And look, no hands. Going straight as an arrow. So the rear end must be pretty straight. That's no hands. No hands. Yeah, I love when a plan works out. Awesome. I'll get it on the highway and get up to speed just to make absolutely sure we ain't got no rear end noise. But yeah, there's letting off the gas. Yeah, and it's everything. Rear end sounds good. The car's going straight. Power steering works awesome. There we go. Cruising down the highway, doing about almost 70. No noise from the rear end at all. Everything sounds good. Woo woo. Y'all have a good day and thanks for watching.